Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday Night Talk with Executive Director Lee Reed of the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. I am Melissa Jean Baptiste, the Communications Specialist, and tonight we have a very special podcast for you. But before we get into that, if you are not already familiar with the ACRB, who we are and what we do, I'm going to hand it over to Lee and he'll let you know all of that good stuff.
All right, hello everyone. This is Lee Reed, the Executive Director of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. Glad to be here tonight. We have some special guests with us tonight, but before I get to our guests, I just want to give you a little information on the ACRB, Atlanta Citizen Review Board. Atlanta Citizen Review Board created back in 2007 after the death of Ms. Catherine Johnson, who was a 92-year-old community mother and grandmother, was killed by Atlanta police and corrections officers. Out of that tragedy, the citizens rose up and said, look, we need to do something different. And the city created the Atlanta Citizen Review Board to address your concerns about Atlanta police and corrections officers. All we say is, if you have a concern, a question about the actions of an Atlanta police and correction officer, contact us so we can investigate it. You don't need to try to handle it out on the street. That's what we're here for. And tonight, we have Board Chair Cecilia Houston-Torrence with us. And we have board member Germain Austin with us.
Hey, everyone.
So we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to, share their insights, and we're going to just, have a free-flowing conversation. Now, Cecilia has been serving on the board since 2016, I think. 2016?
I'm going into my 6th year.
2016, she's been serving on the board. She's been the board chair for the last three years.
Two and a half.
2.5 years. She has
But
been
who's
the
counting?
board chair. She's been leading the board, setting the direction for us. So it's been great to have her as the chair. And I'm trying to get her, do it again, but I don't think I'm gonna have any luck with that. But that's all right.
Term limits.
See, there we go. Term limits. All right, I hear you. But we got Germain Austin gonna be, filling the backfield for us. He's been on the board since 2018, right? I remember that, 2018. And Germain is appointed by the Gate City Bar Association, and so we're glad to have him on the board. And I failed to mention that Cecilia is appointed by the League of Women Voters.
Yes.
So with that, we did the introductions. We're gonna go on and kick it off. And Melissa, I know you wanna give a few words about the appointment process, because sometimes people wanna ask, how do I become a board member? What's the structure? What does it look like? Who's on it? And so Melissa's gonna give us that information real quick. And then we're gonna get into our Q&A and just talk about what your experiences have been being on the ACRB.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you so much, Cecilia and Germain, for joining us tonight. But yes, the ACRB is comprised of 15 total board members. We currently have 12 active members selected from various constituencies throughout the city. The selection process is designated to reflect the diversity and the interests on a broad spectrum of the community of Atlanta. The ordinance established by the city in 2007 created the board appointments. We currently have 2 seats that need to be filled. 1 vacant seat has been filled and is currently waiting confirmation. For more information about the board, how the ordinance came about, and more information on each of our board members, you can find that on our website, www.acrb.gov.org. And we'll just go ahead after all of that, Lee, and get into your questions, your favorite part of the night.
All right. Thank you, Melissa.
All the good information about our lovely board members.
All right, thank you. So, Cecilia, I'm gonna start with you. And like I said, we're just having a conversation. People chime in when they want to. So, Cecilia, you came on 2016. You've been on here for going on 6 years now, board chair, 2.5 years. What made you, inspired you to say, I want to be a part of this board addressing citizen complaints? And
Hi, Cecilia.
She froze for a minute.
Did you
That's
freeze
okay.
on us?
But guess what, Germain?
Um,
Oh, there we go.
Okay. There you are.
What happened?
You
You
froze.
on us for a second. Can you start from the top with your answer? That's okay.
Oh man, and I was doing so well. So y'all can hear me now, and can you see me? Okay.
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
So I was saying, as past president of the League of Women Voters of Atlanta Fulton County, I appointed people to this board for years, at least 3 or 4 different appointments to the board. And when the other representative rolled off, I was rolling off as president of the league. So I said, well, you know, you can't expect people to do something you're not willing to do yourself. So I said, maybe it's my turn. So when I rolled off as president of the league, I came on to the ACRB.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
See,
And no one told me, I wasn't quite, I didn't know exactly what I was getting into. But I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful for the experience going into the Citizen Police Academy. That is what really helped me get up to speed. Going through that experience, that training, you can't really judge people unless you've kind of walked in their shoes. So to see what the officers go through, it helped me in my decision making when I'm, you know, reviewing the cases.
but Germaine, before I get to you, you said something, Cecilia, I just wanted to hit on real quick. You know, as a board member, well, when you became a board member and your time being on it, what did you find to be the most surprising thing about this type of work as it relates to other as it relates to the other boards that you served on and worked with?
Well, for me, I've been on a lot of boards, but this board, you're making decisions that are, you know, you're taking food out of people's mouth, basically. You can suspend officers without pay. I mean, the penalties, we take that seriously. So I never dealt with that level of, you had to be prepared, and the preparation that it took to read these cases and sometimes review the body-worn camera footage. I didn't really know how much time it was going to involve until I actually got into it. And I'm not trying to dissuade people from doing it, but it's a commitment.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna get into that a little bit more in a moment. Germain, up to you, brother. So let me ask you this. What inspired you to say, I want to be a part of the ACRB? I know I know you're going to tell us this in a moment, but for those who don't know, you are an attorney, so I know you're busy.
Correct. Yeah.
What inspired you to say, I want to be a part of this thing?
Well, it was easy for me. For me, it's right in line with my interests and my passions. I find for policing and police accountability issues, I find it to be a human rights and a civil rights issue. And so I've been involved in human rights and civil rights since my college days. And I view it as human rights, civil rights issues because of all the, I believe the era that we're in, where there seems to be a line of distrust within the community in regards to policing, citizens feeling unsafe in various matters. And I'm sure for some officers, they feel the same way, but there's a great divide in the humanity and accepting that police officers are actually supposed to be there to protect and to serve us, and holding those that step out of line, holding those people accountable, to me is a human rights, civil rights issue. And so that's where my passion for being on this board was aligned.
Okay, cool. So now this to both of you, and I was mentioning it a little earlier, you know, the work on the board, you know, some people may think that, you know, it's a matter of just coming to the monthly board meeting, sit down, be there for a couple hours, well, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just say yay and nay, and then that's it, you know. When you think about your experiences on the board, help the citizens understand that what it's really like. I mean, how much goes into it from the board member perspective of trying to make sure that you know, everything is fair, you know, fair for the officer, fair for the citizens, fair for our community. You know, when we talk about these incidents here, you know, so when we think about that, this is to both of you. What's your preparation like for a board meeting?
I'll go first. The investigators that we have on staff make it so easy for us to go through the cases. They are prepared. We have all of the investigative files, any other substantiating evidence that we may need. Start by reading the case. You got to read through it. Look at the evidence. Try to be as impartial as you can. But yeah, it's a lot of reading. Germaine,
you mentioned reading.
No, I echo.
Not just reading, but comprehending what you're reading.
Yeah,
That's a consistent answer from the board members that we've had on the board.
Right.
On the show.
Germaine, before I kick it off to you, I want to throw out one little trivia question. How many pages did you all have to read for the last board meeting?
519.
519 pages.
Yes.
One of our board members wanted to make sure that we understood how much paperwork was being read by the board members. So she gave us that number, you know.
Yeah.
So Germaine, over to you.
Yeah, no, I definitely echo my board chair's sentiments. It's a lot involved. There's a lot of reading. And I'm not just saying that to as far as a gripe. I just want the public to understand that we take these complaints and we take their concerns very seriously, and we make sure that we put the time in to address those concerns. So they're not just filing complaints that are sort of being pushed under the bridge. We get these complaints, we take hours at a time, even from the ACRB board's or staff's perspective. They spend days and hours putting these complaints together so that even before it comes to us as board members, and once we receive it as a board member, it takes a lot of hours and time to go through it just to make sure that we're grasping the information correctly. We're following up with the evidence presented. We're following up with the board staff and other officers if we feel like we don't have certain things that can help us make a more thorough determination regarding each case. And sometimes I have to set aside a whole day just to get through certain cases. So that's the level of seriousness that we handle each case. And in preparation, I know what I normally do is case by case basis, I make sure that I read all of the rules and the violations first, so that when I'm going back through the evidence and the documentation, I'm looking for the evidence to support sort of a violation of each rule or each element of the rule. It's sort of a thing that we learned in law school, per se, of breaking down, making sure you break down each policy and each rule of law into element standard to make sure that you have the evidence to support that. And once if I'm reading through the documentation we receive and the evidence we receive, and I feel like I have information to support each element and all of the elements of that rule of law or that policy is present, then to me, that's my determination that a violation has been done or has been made. And that helps to keep me impartial in the situation, because I'm applying black and white facts and situations towards whatever rule of law or policy that was supposed to be followed. So it's sort of on my end a backwards shift and then the frontward shift. And I love reviewing the body camera footage, because for me, I concentrate about my body camera footage because cameras and videos to me tells no lies. Even in regards to other people's interpretation and the interviewer's lack of memory, or the person interviewee's lack of memory, or even transcribing information not as accurately as possible. Video information tells a picture of or gives us a picture as accurately as possible. So that's one of the things I concentrate on. But I also look at the interviewees' remarks to see what their sort of line of thinking was during the situation, and the victims' reactions to their what was going on, so that while we're handling these cases, we can come up with more effective ways on how to move forward with helping police officers be better servants to our community and helping our citizens to put more trust in officers in bridging that gap.
You know,
Lee, I just want to say, I did not go to law school, so I don't want anybody to be intimidated to think that they have to be an attorney to be on this board. We do have the advantage of having attorneys on the board. And of course, our senior investigator is an attorney along with Lee. So I rely on the investigators. I ask them questions, and the staff is there that assists. So I don't want people to feel intimidated because, you know, Germain just gave his wonderful dissertation.
Well, that's the special part. I believe that's the special part of our board, right? And that's why diversity in what we're doing matters, because in a sense that you don't have a bunch of attorneys just applying black and white factors. You have more so of a jury of your peers trying to make some or put forth some fairness in deciding the level of thinking of or looking at the totality of the circumstances of everyone involved. And I think that's the special part of what we have in mixing the two, not just in a legal perspective.
Yeah.
go ahead, Cecilia.
No, and we do have a great mix of board members. Now we've got the 18 to 30-year-old. What's the age limit? Is
Yeah,
Yes, 18 to 30.
we
18 to
just added
30.
18 to 30-year-old.
Yeah. So
Yes.
we're adding that perspective, and we all come from different parts of the countries. So we're bringing a lot of different experiences to the board and into our deliberations as well.
Yeah.
And we
You
did
know,
jump
I
into
was-
it, Lee.
I'm
We
sorry.
jumped into it a little bit there. We did not get to go into like just a little background of the both of you just professionally. We do know that Mr. Austin is a lawyer, but Cecilia, if you wanted to give it just a little background of yourself and who you are within the community.
Yes.
That is the point.
I am a retiree. That's my job now. I'm a retiree and I'm a grandmother. I worked for the Federal Home Loan Bank the majority of my career as Director of Community Involvement there. In that capacity, I worked with a lot of nonprofit organizations, got to meet a lot of people in the community, and helped our employees become involved in organizations and supporting them in their board positions. My department basically found board positions for our employees and supported them financially. Yeah. So I retired in 2012, and right now I'm doing a lot of civic engagement. I have a walking group that I started called the Nature Girls, and proud grandmother of 3 grandchildren. And I'm the mother of a world champion. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but
A world champion in football.
in football, yes.
Yes. You know, both of you just hit on somewhere where I was about to go, and it's dealing with the importance of citizen involvement in this closed system of police accountability, and the importance of it. You know, both of you hit on it, but could you just tell me from your perspective why you think it is so important, by your involvement, which attests to it, that citizens be involved in officer accountability from the level that we're in, talking about civilian oversight, but from the filing of complaints or just receiving information to be aware of the issues. You know, why is that important? You know, for the people that are sitting out there listening, you know, or thinking about listening, or maybe, yeah, I heard about it, but I don't know much about it. Why should they be involved in this operation?
Well, I think we're now putting faces with the organization. We want the community to see us. We're, you know, regular citizens just like they are. And we want to let them know that we're here. We're going to be fair and honest in our deliberations. Germaine, you want to add to that?
No, I agree with you, Cecilia, and I also would like to. I'll add that I think it's important for citizens to be involved, because that's the only way that I believe that you're going to be able to close that gap in the lack of sort of camaraderie and communication between the two groups, right? Between policing and between the community. If we're in a situation where we're all afraid to talk to each other or trust one another, there's no way to close that gap, or there's no way, I believe, no room for understanding or sort of trying to find a friendly or agreeable solution towards any type of gripes or issues between two groups. And I believe it's essential and it's important for communities to trust police officers, and for police officers to police communities in the right way and the accountable way. And I think citizens, they play an important role, because it's up to citizens and it's up to us to make sure that there's an oversight to let officers know that, hey, if you step out of line and you don't do the job that you took an oath to do, and you do it don't do it correctly, then we're going to lay the hammer down, because citizens are important people. These are the people that you're supposed to, or you swore an oath to protect and to serve. And so we're here sort of to lend that reminder. And we can't do our jobs properly unless citizens are involved. We are the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. So citizens are an important entity.
I want to remind everyone too that our meetings are open to the public. And it's real easy now because they're all virtual. You can watch it on YouTube live, as we do every second Thursday of the month. So be a part of the process, see what we do, and see how we make our decisions.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. I think one of the misconceptions is that people may file complaints or try to participate, but have this I guess this sort of empathy to or misconception that their complaints or their concerns don't go anywhere, or they go unnoticed.
Yeah.
So I'm here to just remind them that especially this board and the staff have been fully committed and will stay vigilant and fully committed to making sure that their concerns or their gripes are taken very seriously, and then we push it all the way through.
Yeah, and one thing that we can say, that the percentages are going up. They listen to our recommendations. That number is moving in the right direction. It's not where we want it to be, but it's moving in the right direction. And I think it's all because of me and Lee. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's all because the administration knows that, they should listen to us. And that's one of the things we're going to fight for.
Yes. And last Tuesday night talks, we were talking about apathy, right? And how when citizens play into this apathy thing, you take away your power to make change.
Apathy.
And there are actually forces. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that's the word I was looking for when I said him.
Yeah. And
apathetic concerns.
There are actually forces out there that they don't mind you being apathetic. In fact, they relish the fact that you're apathetic, because then they don't have to change, because you're not a part of the process anymore. You're not filing a complaint. You're not bringing your charges or your grievances to the people who can make a change. So they're like, great, it's okay. You can talk amongst yourselves and be upset about it. But as long as you're not coming down to the office, as long as you're not voting, hey, we get to continue doing what we want to do, and the value that you all just spoke about for civilian oversight and the work that the ACRB does is saying, no, citizens, you matter. And because we're going to carry that water for you, you let us know what's going on with you, and we're going to deal with it. We're going to investigate it. We're going to have a fair process, a transparent process, a timely process, and communicate to you the outcome, you know, and that's the beautiful part of it. You know, our board members come from all different walks of life, as you all have mentioned earlier, different levels of experience, different types of experience, different educational levels, and it certainly contributes to the diversity of the board, and it gives us this broader spectrum of what the citizens are thinking about police actions, right?
Mhm.
But when you join the board, we don't just say come on in with whatever levels that you, wherever you sit on the pole of life, and just start making decisions, just pulling them off whatever. I think this or I think that, right? So there's some training that's involved, right? So
Yes.
you guys, can you talk a little bit about the training? About, well, you know, I didn't just say, well, Cecilia, now you're on the board, go sit over here and let's do these cases here, make some decisions. I mean, it didn't work like that, right?
No, we had the orientation
Germaine, it didn't work
and
like that then.
No.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Cecilia. I just want to make sure.
no. There's a lot of training that goes into this that we you got to know the terminology. Like I said, I didn't go to law school like Germain over there. So I had, some of the terms I had to, I had to learn some of these legal terms. And we went through so many different the training classes, and they're escaping me right now.
And we have ongoing training.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm actually working on another memo that I'm going to be sending out soon related to some discussions in the last board meeting, because I think that's, we like to stay on the curve. See, we want citizens to know that we are sharp. We are the point of the spear. We are sharp, and we're trying to deal with these issues. Germaine, I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. I know you had something you probably wanted to add to that.
No, I was just going to add, I was going to tell the community on you, Reed, that you had me in a room locked up for hours learning board procedures and processes with no food. No, I'm just playing. I'm joking. No, it's a lot of thoughtful construction that goes into this, and we are trained in making sure that I know one of the learning curves for me was learning the different categories of disciplinary measures that I feel like sometimes people still struggle with, in understanding what categories officers are in, depending on their level of history and experience, and what type of discipline measures we should recommend or can recommend for each officer. So we learn those things. We learn the procedures of how we're supposed to go about doing the motions and making determinations, even the whole process of reviewing. So it's a lot of training that goes into it. It's a lot of time that goes into it, which also to me should encourage more citizens to participate more as well.
Yeah. Before you can make a decision about excessive use of force, you have to know what it is. And that's what our training, it defined these terms and gave examples of it. So, yeah.
And we have more training on the lookout. And guess what? I want y'all to know, we get ready to bring back the 10-minute modules. I think y'all on the board, we did the 10-minute modules in the board meetings. I think that we're going to bring those back, because that was a good way to just, recap things and just educate the community on certain things too. So that's something I'm hoping to bring back. No, not hoping, that we'll be bringing back in the beginning of the new year, just to refresh, make sure that we're getting in even more information and things of that nature. I know we're getting to the end here. One last thing, I know, Melissa, I see you going. Lee, come on, wrap it up.
Yeah. I got you.
The community outreach, the community outreach piece, that's something that that we encourage board members to participate in, just like this, what we're doing tonight is a part of the community outreach piece, because we want citizens to know who's on the board, understand that, hey, these are regular folks on the board, just like you, who are making decisions to be able to help improve relationships between citizens and officers, and be able to help make sure that we have the best officers on the street, which I think is something that we all can agree on,
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's where I think that that's one of the strong points of the work that the board does. And that we've been fortunate to have board members who have said, hey, you know what? Yeah, I know I'm working my regular job, or I'm retired and I'm, spending time with my family, my grandchildren, and my other commitments. But yeah, I can come out and show my face at this community event because they understand the importance. This is not do you guys think you get paid enough?
That's a joke, right?
So we know it's not money.
Oh, it's
We know it's
definitely
not money that
It's not
drives
about
you,
the
right?
money.
To do this work.
That was a good one.
It's more the
definitely not
commitment.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
know.
not money at all, because I actually think I'm losing money. So I'm just no, but that's a good point, Lee. And I want citizens to also understand that we have more than just the outreach committee. There are several committees that board members are involved with, not just being on the board and reading complaints and trying to decide on disciplinary measures for officers, but we have a policy and procedures. We have policy committee that's geared towards focusing on reforming policing policies and issues, reforming sort of how police officers deal with mental health issues or people that they come across, trying to implement more non-deadly use of force procedures and issues, rather than in reducing the amount of times they use deadly force. All those things are surrounding, kind of circulate what we do as a board and coming together and serving the community. So it's just not having board meetings. We actually go out into the community, we minister in the community, and we spend extra time, trying to make sure that we make those changes that are necessary towards keeping the public more safe and more honored.
I know one of the things that I miss doing, Lee, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again soon, is going out with the mascot. What's our new mascot's name?
Yes.
Used to be Captain Integrity.
It used to be Captain Integrity.
Yes.
Now it's Melissa, you know that.
We switched it, and I'm
But anyway, we have a mascot. What I loved about it was the way the kids reacted to the mascot.
Yes.
And just seeing the kids, and how they respond to that. We are bridging that gap between them and the police. We want to be that kind of the liaisons to let them know, officers should be your saviors. Don't look at them as someone that's going to hurt you. So we've got to change that perception. Whatever we can do to change that perception. And we do that through our community outreach. That was my
point. To your point, Cecilia, we had to change the name of Captain Integrity. And so we had a contest that ended earlier this year.
Around May, yeah.
Yeah, to rename the mascot. And so we've been doing auditions, I guess that's what we would call it, auditions for actors to wear the suit. So we're planning to be able to have our mascot up and running again next spring. So that's what we're shooting for.
But thank you. So Lee, Germaine, and Cecilia, thank you so much. This is actually our 10th episode. So we just closed out the 10th episode of our Tuesday night talks. So yeah, thank you. We're getting up there. We're in the double digits, Lee. So it's becoming more of our thing. So that's our time for tonight. But if you do have any additional questions that you would like to ask Lee or any of our board members, or if you would like to file a complaint, please visit our website. Again, it is www.acrbgov.org, or you can give us a call at 404-888-8255. 865-8622. And we are on all social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So any way that you need to contact us, please be sure to do so. And we hope to see you again for another Tuesday Night Talk in another 2 weeks. I'm Melissa Jean Baptiste. Lee.
I'm Cecilia Houston-Torrence. Sorry, Lee, I jumped in there ahead of you.
Hey, that's the way it's supposed to go. That's the way it's supposed to go. Germaine.
Germain, jump in.
And I'm Lee Reed, Executive Director. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Cecilia, thank you. Germaine,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Melissa, thank you. You know, you guys make this undertaking, this journey towards improving our community worth it. You know, I appreciate the dedication and the commitment and the time that you all provide. I know we don't give you all everything that you deserve, you know, as far as, you know, money goes, but you know, it means a lot, the work that you're doing. It means a lot to the staff to have you guys dedicated to this, you know. So with that, we'll end another Tuesday Night Talks.
Thanks.
All righty.
You all.